What's up, family? Welcome to Ask to My Ox.
Where we challenge you to stop playing and start pushing.
I mean, that right there is real.
It's just me. It's just in me.
It's bigger than him.
You stank. Blow your breath in my face. Let's see if you're going 3 for 3.
This is my fly wife, Iana.
And this is that dapper dude, Ayize, my husband. What's up, y'all? Welcome to Ask to My Ox. We're going to get right into our issue for today. We have a wife who's written in, and she's been married for she's been with her husband for 20 years and married for 10. They have 3 children, and she says for the past year or so they've been going through a lot. He's been unemployed for 1.5 years, and she feels that he's really depressed because of it. She says, on the other hand, her career has blossomed tremendously, and she feels like he resents her for that. His attitude stinks, and he tends to shut her out a lot. Over the past several months, he stopped talking to her, and he's been sleeping in their home office on the couch. He refuses to get counseling and work on the marriage, but he also refuses to leave. She says, I hate living this way. I don't want a divorce, but I also don't want to be walking on eggshells to pacify him. Anything you say to him causes him to shut down. The weird part is he's only like that with me. He still communicates with the kids and his friends. But she says that he has a habit of cutting people out of his life, primarily his family. He has siblings and relatives that he hasn't talked to in years. She says that she knew he was that way before they got married, but she really did, and she really does love him. However, she is fed up at this point. Okay, she does not want to live her life, these are her words, living in limbo, waiting for him to change. I truly believe that he has a hard time coping with turmoil. I grew up struggling, so I see life struggles as just another challenge for me to overcome. He tends to take problems and withdraw or run away from them. He's refused counseling. He refuses to talk to her. So what should she do?
I got a question for you. When are you going to stop living in limbo? I mean, the reason why I'm asking this question is because I think that, a lot of times while we're in these relationships, of course, we have blackloveandmarriage.com. So, we're always advocating for you to fight, work the relationship out. And in this instance right here, I'm encouraging you to keep on pressing forward. But I think that you need to grapple with the question, if you feel like this behavior that he's exhibiting is chronic, when is enough enough? And I think that, a lot of times we find ourselves in spaces where we don't fully trust our innate decision-making ability.
Wow.
We don't trust ourselves. So because we don't trust ourselves, we don't feel like we can stand on our own 2 feet. We feel like we need somebody to stand with us and beside us, which, can be of some assistance to us. But if something becomes chronic, if you're starting to see that this behavior is something he's not willing to work on.
Well, she says he was like this before they were married, and they've been together for 20 years and married for 10. So this is like been going on for a long time.
Yeah, that behavior has, but for the past 1.5 years, he's been unemployed. So I can imagine he's probably depressed, low self-esteem, anxiety, and just pretty much frustrated, not feeling good about himself, which is real talk. But, if you try, what have you tried? That's really my question. What have you tried to help lift his spirits up? And in addition to that, again, how long are you willing to be in limbo as you all try to resolve this, or as you try to resolve this?
Here's the other thing. When my husband said, how long are you willing to be in limbo, it brought this up for me. Oftentimes, because we're in relationship, and our spouse, that's the person who we're closest to, we're living our life with, but all relationships go through seasons. All people go through seasons in their lives. And oftentimes, actually most of the time, it has nothing to do with the other person. We all dealing with our stuff. You said he's been like this for a long time, so obviously the root is not with you. Have you ever thought about the fact that you don't have to live in limbo and you can still be with him? You can decide that I'm not going to take on this stuff. That I am going to model for him what I want to see, that I am going to do some work. Perhaps you will go to counseling by yourself so that you have a support and that you have somewhere to talk about what you're going through and what you're dealing with. And that if you have a spiritual life, which we totally advocate here, that you pray, that you meditate, that you do what you need to do to get still so that you're moving ahead. And like you said, you're not pacifying, you're not being codependent, but you're being compassionate for him. That you're really showing him that I'm going to love you through it. And what that really requires us to do is to really do what I feel is, the ultimate love, which is to give, seeking nothing in return. Seeking nothing in return. And there are spaces and places where we need to be able to accommodate that in our relationships. Because that's how we love each other up. That's how we grow each other up. Because the greatest source of love you should be getting is from the Most High and from yourself. So I would just ask that you even struggle with, do you have to be in limbo even when he's off? When my husband is off, man, it throws me. When he has a mood, I really struggle. But I have tried time after time after time, year after year, to really work on the fact that he is a human being. And that if his offness is going to throw me so much, then what does that say about where I'm rooted? What does that say about who I am and whose I am? I have to be able to be in myself when he's going through and not allow it to impact me. Now, I'm not saying it ain't difficult, though.
Yeah.
Because you're saying this has been about a year, okay? So, and this is chronic, okay? So I do want to validate that for you.
And if he's refusing to, really work on himself, then I really thrust them or thrust her in a difficult space, because he's saying, I'm not going to counseling. I'm not getting any help. And, it's in those spaces right there where we feel that, you need to make some difficult decisions and decide, what's best for you,
right?
But also what's best for the relationship and the family structure as well. Really and truthfully, when we're in relationship with one another, we want to be connected to each other. So the way that you can be more connected with your man is really to get him to open up and communicate with you. So the $1 million question is, how do I get him to communicate with me? Let me tell you a little secret here. Most men want to feel like it's a safe space when they're speaking with you. So what you can do is this. You say, baby, I deeply, deeply, deeply desire to really know what's on your heart. I really want to be connected with you. It really hurts me, this whole tension and distance and stress that's going on between us. I'm not feeling it. I really want to know what's in your heart. Yeah. So I want you to have the opportunity to say whatever it is that's on your heart, that's on your spirit, and I won't say a single word.
No judgment.
There will be no judgment. You can say whatever it is. You can say my breath stink. You can say you don't like my hair. You can say you don't like the way I look.
We want him to say something deeper than that.
You can say whatever it is that you want to say, because really and truthfully, ultimately, I want to be connected with you. I want to know what's going on with you right now in this space, because the only way we're going to be able to move from it is if we're able to identify it. So if we're able to identify what's going on by you sharing it with me and by me not passing any judgment, I think that right there will enable us to move quickly to recovery.
A good first step.
Yeah.
Yeah. But in order to do that, you have to be vulnerable. And if you're like a lot of women, a lot of people, if you're like me, it's really difficult to be vulnerable. It's really difficult to let all of that down and take that risk, and he might not give you any kind of response. He might look at you and just be like, I'm really not trying to say nothing. Or whatever, and that will hurt like hell. But you know what? Somebody's got to make a move. But my intuition says that while you say that you take things head on and he tends to run, you all have probably got into a stalling pattern. It's been a year, so you probably have retreated a little bit yourself over to your corner, and he's chilling in his corner. So somebody's got to come out. Somebody's got to make the move. We know that you all can do it. Please stop playing and start pushing.